everybody, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video we're talking about bitting and trying a new bit. And today's bit is a copper 3-piece, basically I would say this is more of a D-ring than an egg butt because it does have some sidebar action. Now, regardless of what you feel about bits, and whether you want to use a hackamore or not, it's part of a Western horse's training to have different kinds of bits. Now, the thicker the mouthpiece, the easier the bit. And if you look at this one, it's a pretty thick, smooth mouthpiece. Also, the fact that it is copper helps the horse salivate. Now, the centerpiece, the cool thing about it is the tongue rests on it. So when you use a direct snaffle action on either side, you're isolating the pressure on either one of the bars. So today we are going to be trying this bit out on Penny. And if you'd like to see more bits, I'm making a new playlist about bitting. Check out our playlist, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the notifications. Okay guys, here we go with our actual saddle test of our new bit. Now, we've already done all of our groundwork and we're ready to get in the saddle. Now, Penny was doing such a good job earlier at just standing there. Good girl. There we go. Now, she knows the first thing I'm going to ask her to do is flex. And that's the first thing we want to do with a bit. And remember, we always start out light whenever we're testing a new bit. Thumb and forefinger, okay. Wrap the rest of the hand, and then there you go. That is demand when you need it. So always start out light and never use more pressure than you need to. Even though this is a very light bit, I want to get good light responses because we're trying to create a light horse. Now, up till now, I've used primarily a hackamore with her, but her owners want to see which bit is going to work best for her. Now, when I'm testing a bit, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a walk to a flex and a one-rein stop. Because what I do with the bit first is test my brakes. I want to make sure I have brakes, whatever bit I choose, that the horse is responding to it. So we do a one-rein stop to a flex and whoa, and release. So she's already got this flex and stop and release. So right there, I already know that she's going to listen to this bit. So now we're going to speed things up a little bit. And I'm going to ask her to collect with this bit. Now, the object of this game is I squeeze with my legs, and I'm going to go out with my hand, and then come in for the release as soon as she gives. So come in for the release, squeeze, come in for the release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. There we go. And I eventually just want to be able to touch her with those pinkies like that to get a much better response. Now I'm going to keep this on a circle, and I'm going to move up to a posting trot because this horse is going to be ridden both English and Western. So her ability to get on the bit is going to be an important thing. Now, I already noticed she's opening and closing her mouth a little bit. Like I said, we've been working in a hackamore, and I like hackamores, but I also want her to respond to a bit as part of her education. Now, there we go. Did you see the difference? She just relaxed as soon as I went down to a nice slow trot. And she's giving much better, and I'm not having to put as much pressure onto her. So yes, she is giving to the bit. Now, the difference with a bit as opposed to a hackamore is I'm going to use my inside rein to get that tip of the nose. And that outside rein is going to be what I would call a sponge. Now, let me side pass on up there. Side pass, side pass. Oh, yeah. I say that and she doesn't want to do it. Okay, there you go. That's what I'm talking about by just using that little bit of a sponge. So remember, you start out right here and then you wrap your fingers around and you can do little tugs and you can always give a nice release with that. Now, if you really need to, pull from the elbow. But as you can see, it's ask, suggest, demand with the bit. Remember, so we ask, we get that flex, back up, we ask, we get the flex. The horse has to know that you release. That means you can ride, if you're using looped reins like this, just by sliding your hand up, a little bit of pressure in between your thumb and your forefinger. There you go. And let it just slide on through. That's how you know you have light hands. And you also want to keep your hands down. So you slide out, ask for that. Now the difference with a D-ring as opposed to an O-ring is I get a lot better when I slide my finger out like that and I add button number one, button number one. There we go. Ask for that spin. There we go. Sit back. There we go. Much better. Now, with the bit, I'm actually asking her to turn. It's putting pressure on the inside, which is the right, and it's also putting pressure on the outside of the lip, which is the left. But it's not, because it has a 3-point, it's not putting as much pressure on the left bar. So when I ask her to give her head, there we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, nice. That was beautiful. That was probably the nicest turn that I've gotten out of her. So I'm liking this bit as far as the way that she's reacting. There you go. There you go. There you go. Button number one, button number one. There. There we go. Nice. There we go. Overall, for an initial test, I'm thinking this is a pretty good bit. She doesn't seem to be bothered too much by it. I know it's nice and soft. I'm not having to really pull on it. I haven't had to go to demand, just I've stayed with ask the entire time with her. And so as far as my recommendation for a bit with her, this so far has been my favorite. Well, all right, we did a bunch more work. We did a lot of lateral work. We did some rollbacks. We did some shoulders in. We also did some haunches in. We did some half passing, and see, she got quite a bit of a workout. By the end of the session, though, she was really light on the bit, and I was barely having to touch her, and so I really liked it. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's video. And if you want to see more videos, please check out our playlist. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're putting in new content every single week.